Joining me right now is Katrina Pierson. She is Trump 2020 campaign senior advisor. Katrina, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Your reaction to the president's statement?
Well, I mean, the president has said a number of times over the last couple of years that, he does believe that the Russians meddled in the election. A lot of people actually created Facebook pages to push propaganda. It's not just the Russians. But I do grow tired, Maria, of people holding President Trump to a standard that was non-existent to previous presidents. For example, this all occurred under the Obama administration, and not once was President Obama asked to publicly rebuke Vladimir Putin or hold him accountable for what they discovered to be this quote-unquote meddling. But suddenly now President Trump is carrying the weight of all of the previous administrations, including members of Congress's actions during his presidency, and I just don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Dagan, this is getting a little goofy at this point. I understand that the Russians have been undermining or trying to undermine the West for decades, but at this point there are real issues to be talking about with Russia, and now it feels like the media is just in a frenzy about are they meddling right now? Were they meddling 5 minutes ago? I mean, give me a break.
It's insane.
But the fact that President Trump is continuing to do interviews on this, he's going to get asked by it, is evidence that the White House viewed what happened on that stage standing next to Vladimir Putin as an error, as a mistake that could hurt the president's standing, Katrina. That's why that they continue to talk about it.
Well, the president has always been this way whenever there's been this kind of misinformation or even disinformation being pushed about him or his positions. He's always opted to do several interviews on the topic. But, I have to say that it is quite disturbing that even in the context of the press conference in Helsinki, no one is really talking about the things that he has done as president against Russians with regards to sanctions.
We talked about it yesterday.
Well, maybe you guys do. But this mainstream chaos that occurred after Helsinki, that was largely left out of the discussion in the mainstream, and that's why he does the continuation of these topics and talking with CBS and ABC and others, because he does want the mainstream viewers to understand his position, whether or not he misspoke or not. I think it's really important for him to continue to do that because he has issued sanctions against Russia. He's had numbers of diplomatic expulsions. He's strengthening NATO, which goes against this idea that he's supportive of Russia.
That he brought up the gas pipeline to Germany.
Absolutely.
And really stuck it to them and basically said, look, this doesn't seem right. This is a conflict. And maybe he's vying for that business for the U.S. We'll watch that. But we've got to get your take on immigration. The House last night passed a resolution backing ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, basically denouncing calls by some Democrats to abolish ICE. Is this telling the stark contrast between the two parties ahead of the midterm elections? I mean, the Dems voted, a lot of them present, which basically meant that they didn't have to vote yes or no. But basically that is a no, voting against ICE, to abolish ICE.
Absolutely, it's a no, and I think their constituents on the ground would see that the exact same way, considering how they've propped up several politicians, some veterans, some new, who are talking about abolishing ICE, and it's out of the context of family separation, which isn't even ICE to begin with. So it does kind of highlight the fact that the Democrat Party still has zero direction, zero policies to put in place, zero platform to push in the midterm elections. This was nothing but a political stunt that was really thrown back on them. It called them their feet to the fire, and they failed to follow through on that. And I think constituents need to be paying very close attention to the fact that the Democrats voted present on whether or not to support an entity that is tasked with going after criminal illegal aliens in this country, including three of which who kidnapped and raped 2 teenage daughters in Ohio during the 4th of July week. And that is absolutely absurd. And most people would agree that we should have entities in this country keeping black tar heroin out of our communities. So this is absolutely going to backfire against the left.
And the resolution last night basically just shines a light on it, shines a light on who supports ICE and who doesn't. The president tweeted about this just moments ago. Here's what he said. The Democrats have a death wish in more ways than one. They actually want to abolish ICE. This should cost them heavily in the midterms. Yesterday, the Republicans overwhelmingly passed a bill supporting ICE. Mitch, it could have been it could have been looked at as a stunt, but at the same time, it's shining a light on who supports ICE and who doesn't.
Immigration was obviously a big issue for the president in his election. The question is, will Republicans use it as an issue to garner support in the midterms? And can they sort of weaponize the Democrats denouncing ICE in a positive way to get votes? So we'll see. Did look like a stunt, though.
Yeah.
But voting present, I don't think is the best way to. A yay vote would have been just as well too for many of the Democrats.
Katrina, do you think this hurts them, the Democrats, in November, or do you think this is now we know and this is sort of just overlooked?
Well, I think it does hurt the Democrats in November because this is not a game, Maria. You know, I'm from Texas, and communities are hit very hard by illegal immigration. You can't even have an intellectual discussion about the budget, the debt, the deficit, the cost of health care without talking about illegal immigration. And this is not something that I believe the Republicans are using as a political football, because President Trump came to the table and gave, you know, over 1 million opportunities to put this issue to bed, specifically with DACA recipients, expanding it from the 800,000 initially, and said, let's make a deal, let's solve the problem. And the Democrats wouldn't even come to the table. So you have the Republicans who are trying to resolve the issue, and you have Democrats who don't want to deal with the issue and just want to play games. And I think people don't believe this is a game anymore.
All right. Katrina, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Great to be here.
We appreciate it. We will see you soon. Katrina Pierson there.